You're watching Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. I'm Mike Morales here in San Antonio. That gentleman out there is
Matt Metris in Rochester, New York.
And Matt and I have a really neat mezcal that we're going to break up and talk about. And check out this, if you're watching us on YouTube, check out this bottle. Mira, look at him. Isn't he beautiful? You may have seen him on Instagram. He's a star, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully the correct pronunciation of this mezcal is called Xiaman. And rather than get stuck in all the information, we're going to taste it first, and then we're going to give you our all the background info. To be just to be fair, though, it is a artisanal mezcal. This is a category now. And it is also a medley. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to make Matt tell you what
that's mean. Okay.
What plants? What's the plants? Go ahead, Matt.
It's half espadine.
Tell us what plants they are.
So it's half espadine and it's half tepechate. Close enough? Close?
Tepechate. Yes. You're close. I tell you what. The more you say it, the better off you become, or the more of this you have, the better off you'll sound. You'll be speaking Zapotec at any minute.
I mean, we could call it Agave marorata, which is the Latin, which might be more.
Well, there you go.
But it's a cool plant.
For those,
it takes 25 to 30 years to reach maturity on this guy.
Now, it's not uncommon to have medleys. And sometimes more than one plant will go. Sometimes three. For instance, El Silencio, for instance, is a medley of three. This is only two, mm-hmm. and we don't know what the percentages are. Usually, I would say, depending on who the palenquero is, or that it's mainly espadín, and they have the tepechate that they throw in there for an added flavor. So it's almost like it's like an olive in a martini. Let's put it that way. Or the olive juice in a dirty martini. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I have my Stasel Jorito for Mezcal. Looks like you have yours too there.
Yep, I do. Oh, these are beautiful legs and tears, ladies and gentlemen. These are just beautiful. They're sheeting. They're not clinging to the glass. It is pristine too. This is really bright. Mm-hmm. A bright mezcal.
It's nice shimmer off of it too. Nice reflection.
Yes. And I'm trying to get mine into the camera there. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful to look at. Not just the bottle itself, because we'll go into describing the bottle here shortly. But now, also just to give you a little information on from, not only is it a medley, but it is at 44% alcohol. It's 88 proof.
Yeah.
So this already sounds like a traditional mezcal. So let's get into the nose and yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, Matt and I have done several mezcals in the past and this year as well. We've had some really. I like throwing Matt some mezcals because he plucks out some stuff that even I can't. I don't get. Now
this was nice heat coming off this. Vegetal heat is the word I like to use for it. You get that nice agave aroma. You get the spicy. You can smell the spiciness. This was cooked in a nice underground oven.
Yeah, I'm getting notes of clay. I'm just breathing. I'm just inhaling from left brain, right brain, left side, right side. And I even get a little hint of smoke, sometimes right down in the center.
Yep.
Wow. There's all kinds of layers. This is a complex nose on this.
It is. It's very nice.
Okay, let's dive in. I'm sold.
Okay, yeah, let's do
Wow.
it. Hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, it's a lot less
Oh
subtle,
man.
or sorry, I should say a lot more subtle than you would expect from the aroma. It starts really, really slow and sort of builds in your mouth. You can kind of feel the heat build and come out your retronasal, like right, smoking out your nose, dragon style.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
But it's in a nice way. This is I'm getting earth.
Mhm.
I'm getting clay. Maybe wet cement. Some people would call it a wet cement, but it's
Mhm.
more like an earth clay. Um, the way it happens for me, espadín, in and of itself, on its own, and I think Matt will agree with me. It goes in rather sweet. Like a blue agave. Sometimes, and depending on where it comes from, you might get more minerally, or depending on where in the region of Oaxaca or someplace else that it comes from. But it started off really sweet, and then it seems like the tepestate just started to build up
Mhm.
because you got like wood notes.
Wood
The
notes, I get
tepestate.
some savory, almost like a pepper, like a poblano pepper, maybe, and
Yeah,
also some like brininess from like an olive. You know, really neat.
yeah. This is a beautiful rendition of you know, we call them medleys. That we probably in technically a medley might be three because like I said, El Silencio has actually three plants involved, and that's not uncommon. This one is a duo,
Mhm.
so there's only two.
And it is
But I think that
50-50. It does say that one of the POS sheets that I have here, it's equal parts Tepechate and
oh,
Espadin.
okay. Well, let's get into some of the particulars. First of all, I don't know about you, Matt, but hands down, I gotta name this brand of promise nominee in the packaging category.
It's really going to make it a difficult competition for its competitors in that category because this is just, I mean, the glass is etched. You can't really see that on the camera, but everything, all the glass is relief etched, and just this head is amazing.
This is beaded. It's the beadwork that Oaxaca is famous for. And it's a jaguar. I would venture to say he is a
Mhm.
jaguar. Um,
And the collar
and
is made of leather. I didn't even notice that until right now.
yeah,
It's like a stitched leather, hand
yeah.
numbered bottle on the leather. Yeah.
Yeah, the this here, the name is I don't know if you can even see that, but you can check it out on our Instagram at Tequila Aficionado, or also Xiaman's Instagram. This is green glitter,
Yeah.
and it doesn't come on your hands, thank goodness, because I
A
hate
little
glitter.
bit, a little bit. I got a little
Does
bit
it?
on my thumb, but yeah.
Um, this is beautiful. This is a Joven, which means that it's not aged at all. Okay, so that's what Joven means. By the way, for those of you who are just getting into mezcal, or those of you who are pros, see the QR code. It's a hologram. It's holographic QR code. Get yourself a good QR code reader. You can download those for free and have them on your phone. Um, what you'll do is you snap that tag. It takes you to what technically is like the gnome list for mezcal. It takes you right to their database, and you can learn more about the more or less about the brand itself, where it's made, who is the master distiller, or maestro palenquero, maestro mezcalero. Um, Sometimes by law it has to have that seal. By law, they only require minimal information, but you'd be
Mhm.
surprised if you do enough of these. Some of the brands you think are not going to give you a whole lot of information actually do. That doesn't, if they don't have the paper label that tells you what the coordinates are and what region and all that, and anything else that we should tell you, it's these are you're going to die when I tell you this is from the makers of Padre Azul tequila. This is their mezcal. And I don't know about you, Matt, but we've had Padre Azul. You've seen the bottle. It's got the Terminator skull head as the stopper. It's wrapped in leather. It's really a very very imposing bottle. I mean, we had to nominate it for Brand of Promise in packaging because it's gorgeous. But this is really something. Now that we've had a chance to open it up a little bit, let's see what else we're getting on it.
I ran out.
You ran out?
I drank it all.
You want some more?
Yeah, I might have to pour some more. This is the last one we're taking today, so I can pour a little extra.
You have a little bit of this, and it's going to kick what's left of your flu. So
yeah, that's true.
You can take this for medicinal purposes.
Yes. Maybe I can get a prescription and get my insurance to cover it.
Hey, man, you can inject it. That would be awesome. I love what I'm sensing. I love the woodsiness and the clay that I get. And the explosion at Mid Palate. You got to be prepared for it. It's not aggressive, but it is really it's an experience. It's a flavor experience for your taste buds. Really is something.
Yeah. A lot of neat stuff going on. And this is a Joven, like you said, which is different from a tequila Joven. This is a Joven in Mezcal is basically the equivalent of a Blanco tequila, meaning that it's been unaged. Whereas a Joven in tequila is going to be a blend. And so they're different terms, or the same term, I guess, that mean different things depending on what you're drinking. So not to get that confused.
They're just two different industries.
Yeah.
Anything else on that card that we should know about?
Yeah, so one of the interesting things is they claim to, according to tradition, they only harvest their agave during a full moon. Because the experience of 5 generations has taught them that this is the moment when the plants are at peak sweetness. I've never heard of that before, so I don't know. What do you think? Is it marketing?
It could
do it.
No, it could be. Each palenquero has their own. I can't even call it a superstition. Like for instance, there are surgeries that are not conducted during a full moon because you tend to bleed more. Okay, so if you live in nature, and I mean we have high tides.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to bet that this is correct in the assumption that there are things that these people know who've been doing it for centuries and generations that we're going to look and laugh and go, oh, that's just marketing. But if this is their process and they come up with this, whatever they're telling me, I believe, because this stuff is amazing stuff. So yeah, I would say that the sap is probably brought up during a full moon. Nature has its own way of dealing with tides and cycles. We know that. We know, for instance, even in tequila, that try not to harvest agave during the rainy season. Not because it's a superstition, because the ground is so wet. If you've ever been to Arandas, you can't slosh through that mud during the rainy season because it'll suck your shoe right off.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I say I believe it. I believe it when they say that's what it's these little bits and pieces that make something like this really special. I for years I have been chasing women in the tequila industry, and now we're finding out that there are more women involved in making mezcal than we thought originally, because mezcal was never, it really still is in its infancy. We're still discovering more and more things. We're discovering that a medley isn't because there's not enough espadín to go around, but sometimes that's what they did.
That's what they want. Yeah.
Yeah, and they learned they learned to combine the agaves together, so you get a much more enhanced, beautiful flavor profile, where it's not just Tepezcate and just espadín.
They bake the piñas together They're using a traditional underground oven where they are cooked for 6 days, which is on the higher end.
Right.
And then they are crushed, they say, quote, in an old style mill. So we're assuming that's a Tahona, driven by a mule. There's very few tequilas that are still using mules. I don't know if there's any. Siete Leguas still use a mule, but almost everybody.
I think they use a tractor.
Yeah, I think everybody uses a tractor or forklift now in the tequila industry, but mules are still kind of something that pops up in Mezcal. And then they ferment for 15 days, which is also on the longer end of things. Wooden vats with pure spring water is the information that they provide. And then they're distilled in copper, which is good. That's the traditional method. Yeah, and that's what they have on their production on online.
This is beautiful stuff, ladies and gentlemen. What do we have an MSRP on this thing? It's got to be in close to 100.
I'd imagine it's expensive. I was not able to find it. And they do have some information that takes 13 hours to make each bottle, according to their website. And they make the bottles in 500 bottle lots. So mine, I have 126 out of 500 on my label. But
really, do I have? Wait a minute. I have a numbered bottle. Holy cow!
Yeah, it should be right near the seam.
Right near the seam. Okay.
Of the leather on the collar.
There's some writing on here as well. Okay, Agave, Agostifolia, and Mormorata. That must be the Latin, apparently.
Yep.
But no, you would know it. We would know it as Tempestate, for those of us who have been having more and more mezcals as of late. Where did you say that you have a number on this? Because I have a lot number. This is a lot X01, so I'm assuming it's one of the first lots.
Ah, see, so I don't have a lot number, but I
have right here,
right there on the collar, 126 out of 500.
I got 180 out of 500.
Okay.
How come you guys keep getting all the younger bottles, man?
Well, I'm younger. What can you do?
I know. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, right now, Brand of Promise nominee.
Absolutely.
This is beautiful stuff. There's so many different categories. We're going to have to find an appropriate category for it. But I love this. This is an amazing mezcal. You need to find it. You can't miss it. You just look for the little jaguar on the stopper. And by the way, it's not it's synthetic cork as well. So this is just lovely. Again, from the makers of Padre Azul, they're importing this. This is very, very traditional mezcal. It's very well worth looking for. And we pronounce it Xiaman, okay?
I can't find any distribution information on it either. I don't know if you've seen anything where they're distributed.
It's so new on the market that I haven't heard anything. I probably will have more information a little bit later on, or maybe off camera. But I would imagine, since the Padre Azul is so big in Europe, it wouldn't surprise me at all if this were being launched in the European market first, maybe coming into the States later. But it needs to come into the States. This is gorgeous. And again, don't judge it by the bottle. Really, the juice inside is as precious as what this bottle looks like. You're going to want to keep this bottle because it's just the beadwork alone on this little guy is amazing.
Yeah, and they're done by hand as well. The beadwork, it's really impressive.
Yeah. Anyway, that's our take on Xiaman Mezcal. I'm Mike Morales here in San Antonio. That gentleman out there is
Matt Metris in Rochester, New York.
You have been watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels, whether you're listening to us on your iPad or iPod. Do they still make iPods?
I don't think they do.
I don't think so. On your Walkman. you know, wherever you listen or download podcasts, go right ahead and subscribe because we've got a full boat on 2020 agave spirits. You folks have no clue what is coming at you. Um, and if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, hit that notification bell as well. That way they let you know every time Matt comes up. And on your phone, poof, there's Matt. You can follow us on all of the social media networks. But whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.